Welcome to the 13th hour.
I knew I should have fixed that damn spare. The thought hits the second the tire blows. A sharp pop, followed by that sick grinding sound of rubber shredding other metal. The car jerks hard to the right, and I fight the wheel until I can wrestle it to the shoulder. Gravel sprays. Then silence. I just sit there a moment, gripping the wheel while my heart tries to slow down. The red flash of my hazard lights bounces off the trees, turning them into blinking ghosts. Perfect, I mutter. Middle of nowhere, freezing cold, and no spare. The road around me is empty, just an endless dark tunnel of pines on both sides. The air outside the car looks thick, almost heavy. I grab the flashlight from the glove box and check my phone. 8% battery, no service. Of course. Home's only 3 miles up. I can walk it. I don't love the idea of leaving my car out here, but it's that or freeze inside it. I turn off the hazards to save the battery, zip up my coat, and step into the cold. The night hits me right away. The air smells like wet dirt and pine sap, the kind of chill that burns your lungs when you breathe too deep. The trees crowd right up to the road, tall and black and close enough to touch. I flick on the flashlight and start walking. The beam shakes a little in my hand, not from fear, not yet, but from the cold. My boots crunch in the gravel. That's the only sound I hear. No wind, no insects, no cars, just me. I glance back after maybe 100 yards. The taillights are tiny red dots now. Beyond that, nothing but black. The kind of black that swallows everything. 3 miles, I whisper. Just 3 miles. I keep walking. The forest is thick here, branches leaning over the road like they're eavesdropping. Every once in a while the wind stirs the trees just enough to sound like whispering voices. I tell myself it's nothing, that I've driven this road 100 times, that I know every bend and every ditch. But walking it at night is different. The road feels smaller, the trees feel bigger, and the dark feels alive. A sound snaps from somewhere off to my left, a quick crack, like a branch breaking under weight. I stop walking. The beam of my flashlight sweeps over the trees. Just bark and leaves and a mist rising from the ground. Nothing moves, but that's the problem. Nothing moves, not even the wind. Then I see it. 2 points of red light, low to the ground, just past the ditch line. They flicker for a half second like eyes catching the beam, then vanish. I swallow hard, my throat suddenly dry. Probably a deer, I tell myself out loud. But deer don't have eyes that red. I start walking again, a little faster this time. I keep the flashlight steady, but the shadows seem to move with me. Every few steps I hear something pacing through the woods. Not next to me, but close enough to hear the brush parting, the soft thud of something heavy keeping pace. My stomach tightens. The sound stops when I stop, starts again when I move. I glance into the trees and the flashlight catches a shape, low, dark, crouched. My brain scrambles for something normal. A dog, maybe. A wolf. But this thing's bigger. Too big.
It's on all fours. Its shoulders higher than the ditch, fur matted and black. Its head is long, muzzle forward, ears up like antennas. And those eyes, burning, faintly glowing red, locked right on me. The breath leaves my chest. I can't move. Then it exhales, and I can hear it. A low rumble, wet and guttural, somewhere between a growl and a human voice trying to breathe through a throat full of gravel. I step back. The thing moves forward. Not fast, not slow. Confident, like it's not afraid of me at all. That's when I turn and start walking again, faster now, trying to keep my steps even. Don't run, I tell myself. Don't run. If it's an animal, running will make it chase. But the sound in the woods doesn't care about rules. It follows. Quiet, but steady. I can hear the weight of it shifting, the crunch of leaves under its paws. A mile passes like a bad dream. I keep to the edge of the road, flashlight aimed dead ahead. I don't dare look back. The air feels thicker, heavier, like the night itself is pressing in. Then the growl comes again. Closer this time. Deeper. Vibrating through the ground. It echoes off the trees and crawls straight up my spine. I freeze. Something moves in the corner of my light. A tall shadow rising from the ditch, standing up. My brain can't process what I'm seeing at first. It stands like a man, but taller. Maybe 7, 8 feet? Long arms, thick chest, fur hanging in clumps. The head is all wrong, the snout, the teeth, the ears pointed back like a wolf caught mid-snarl. It looks straight at me, and for a second I forget how to breathe. Then, it takes one slow step toward the road. I turn and start running. Gravel flies under my boots, the flashlight bouncing like a strobe. I can hear it crashing through the trees, keeping pace with me. I don't dare look back. My lungs burn, my legs ache, but the road ahead keeps going, twisting through black woods that all look the same. I pass the old logging turnoff, a rusted gate and a no trespassing sign, and I can see the hill that leads home. Just one more mile. I just have to make it to the top. Something howls behind me. Not a wolf. Not even close. It's deeper. Almost human, but too strong. It hits the air and rattles my ribs. I run faster. Halfway up the hill, I risk a glance back. The flashlight beam catches it for just a second, mid-stride, running on 2 legs now, head low, arms swinging. The red eyes burn in the beam. Locked on me. I trip, slam my shoulder into the ground and roll. The flashlight skids across the asphalt and spins in circles. I scramble for it, my fingers shaking, and swing the light back toward the sound. It's closer than I thought. Standing in the middle of the road, panting, drool glinting on its teeth. The chest heaves like it's breathing steam. It's bigger now, or maybe it's just closer. For half a second, neither of us moves. Then it takes one slow step toward me. I turn and start sprinting. My heart's hammering so hard I can feel it in my teeth. I'm running purely on panic now, lungs burning, legs screaming, flashlight beam bouncing wildly over the road. The trees open up, and I see the faint glow of my porch light through the branches. Home. It's right there. I hit the driveway hard, slip in the dirt, and nearly go down again. I catch myself on the mailbox, shove forward, and take the porch steps 2 at a time. I fumble the door handle. It sticks, then gives. I dive inside and slam it shut. The deadbolt clicks just as something heavy lands on the porch boards outside. The sound makes the whole house shake. I back away, staring at the door, my chest heaving. My phone still in my coat pocket. I grab it, unlock it with shaking hands, and dial 911. It rings once, twice, then 911, what's your emergency? There's something outside, I whisper. It chased me. It's huge. Looks like... I can't say it. It sounds insane. Looks like a... I don't know. Like a man and a dog put together.
The dispatcher keeps her voice calm. Where are you located? I give the address. She repeats it back. Okay, a unit's on its way. It may take a while. You're pretty far out. Stay inside. Do not open the door. Something moves on the porch again. Slow, heavy steps. The boards creak like they're about to snap. Ma'am? I whisper. It's right outside. Stay quiet, she says. Keep the line open. There's a deep, wet, sniffing sound at the bottom of the door. Something breathing me in. The smell hits next. Wet fur, blood, and something metallic like rusted iron. I hold my breath, the phone shaking against my ear. Then the door flexes, just a little, like something's testing it. The dispatcher's voice cuts through the ringing in my head. Sir, the deputy's en route, 10 minutes out. Can you move to a locked room? No, I whisper. If I move, it'll hear me. The scratching starts, slow, deliberate, claws dragging through the wood in long arcs. Not trying to get in, just marking, writing. It moves toward the window. I can hear the glass fog as it breathes against it. I glance over and see it, a smear of condensation, and in the center, 2 empty circles where the eyes would be if it were looking right at me. Then, silence. A few seconds later, the boards creak again, moving away this time, one slow step after another. The air outside shifts, the cold settling back in like the night's exhaling. The dispatcher keeps talking, but I barely hear her. I just stare at the door. The scratches are still fresh, long and deep. 5 minutes later, red and blue lights flash through the window. I open the door just enough to see the deputy walking up with a flashlight drawn. He glances at the marks on the door, runs his hand over them and frowns. Big? Real big. Probably a bear. But I can tell by his face he doesn't believe it. He checks the yard, the ditch, the road, finds tracks in the gravel, prints too long for paws, too wide for feet. He takes a few photos, writes a report, tells me to stay inside tonight. After he leaves, the night is quiet again. Too quiet. I look at the scratches on the door and realize how high they are, nearly up to my shoulder. The smell of wet fur still hangs in the air. I make coffee I'll never drink and sit by the window until the first gray light starts to show through the trees. The snow begins to fall, soft and thin. When I finally step outside later that morning, I find the prints by the porch, deep, sharp, and leading back into the woods. I follow them until they disappear into the trees. Then I stop, because they don't end. They change, from 4 prints to 2, from paws to feet. I turn back toward the house and see the door, the scratches still fresh, glinting in the daylight like scars that haven't learned to fade yet. And for the rest of my life, I'll leave them there. Not as proof, as a reminder. Because sometimes when the night gets quiet enough out here, you can still hear something breathing in those woods, waiting for a car to break down again, waiting for someone dumb enough to walk the 3 miles home.
We just wanted a quiet weekend. That's all. 2 days off work, a tent, a forest, and the kind of peace you can only find when you're miles away from other people. That's how it always starts, isn't it? My name's Rachel, and my best friend Maya and I have been inseparable since 3rd grade. We'd always talked about doing one of those old-school camping trips. No phone service, no crowds, no campground bathrooms with 50 people brushing their teeth next to you. Just us, a tent, and nature. So, the first weekend of June, we did it. We drove out to northern Iowa, to a stretch of forest near the Yellow River State area, somewhere people say is beautiful, untouched, and remote. They weren't kidding about remote. The road narrowed from asphalt to dirt, then from dirt to gravel, then to something that barely qualified as a trail. We followed it until the trees closed in so tight it felt like driving into a tunnel. Finally, we found a small pull-off where the tree line opened just enough to park. The GPS had already lost signal, but that was the point, right? Disconnect, reset. We pulled our backpacks out of the trunk, slung our sleeping bags over our shoulders, and started the hike. About 2.5 miles in, we found the perfect spot, a small clearing surrounded by tall tines and hardwoods. It sat right beside a trickling creek, and you could hear the water even over the sound of birds. The forest smelled like pine needles and earth, fresh and green. "This is it," Maya said, spinning slowly, grinning. "Perfect!" We set up camp, pitched the tent, built the fire pit, unrolled the sleeping pads, and even hung up the little solar string lights Maya had brought. They blinked to life one by one as the sun started to dip, a soft golden ring around our tent. It looked cozy, safe, like something out of a camping commercial. We roasted marshmallows, shared a bottle of cheap wine, and laughed about bad high school crushes and bad exes. The forest around us buzzed with life, crickets, frogs, owls, and the air cooled as the night settled in. At some point, we noticed how clear the stars were. The Milky Way stretched across the sky like dust on black velvet. We both said the same thing at the same time. We should do this more often. We had no idea that by morning, we never want to go camping again. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. At first, I thought it was because I had to pee, but as soon as I unzipped my sleeping bag, I heard it. A snap. Not like a twig, more like a branch. A heavy one. Something big was moving out there. I froze, listening. The fire outside had burned down to glowing coals, so all I could see through the thin fabric of the tent was the faint gold flicker of the embers. The string lights were still glowing too, soft, steady, making the tent walls glow a warm amber. Another sound. Crunch. Snap. Slow, deliberate steps circling the camp. I held my breath and whispered, "Maya, you awake?" She stirred. What? Listen. A few seconds passed, then she heard it too. Something was walking around our camp. We both sat up slowly, hearts pounding. I could see her eyes in the faint light, wide, questioning. Another step. Closer now. Then came the sound of something brushing against the tent, a dragging sound like a stick scraping fabric. Maya clapped a hand over her mouth to stop herself from gasping. I swallowed hard. "Probably a deer," I whispered, even though it sounded nothing like one. And then, a low, throaty growl. Not a dog's bark, not a coyote's yelp. Something deeper. Animal, but wrong. The sound vibrated through the ground, through our bones. Maya's hand clutched mine so tight, I felt her nails dig in. We sat frozen for what felt like minutes. Then the footsteps moved off, slow, fading into the trees. When the sound finally disappeared, we exhaled together. Maya whispered, "We should look." I shook my head. "No way. Stay inside. It's gone." But I wasn't sure. We didn't sleep after that. We just lay there, whispering about what it could have been. Deer, bear, maybe a stray dog. Around 2 a.m., the forest went quiet. Completely quiet. No crickets, no frogs, not even the creek. It was like someone had turned off the sound of the world. Then came the howl. It wasn't close at first, maybe a mile away, but it was unlike anything I'd ever heard. Long, drawn out, and deep. Not the high-pitched call of a coyote. It sounded like a wolf, but Iowa hasn't had wolves in years. It carried through the trees, bouncing off the trunks, wrapping around us. Maya whispered, "That's not a coyote." I just nodded, staring at the tent wall as if it could tell me what was out there. Another howl answered. Closer. Then, silence again. We stayed perfectly still, clutching our flashlights. The tent walls glowed with the faint gold light from our string lights, making everything outside just shadows and shapes. Then I saw one. a tall, narrow shadow moving between the trees. It stopped at the edge of the camp, just past the fire pit. Maya whispered, "Do you see that?" I nodded slowly. The figure was big, easily over 7 feet, broad shoulders, long arms. It moved like a man, but the outline of the head, it wasn't human. It was longer, muzzled. It dropped down suddenly, landing on all fours. We both gasped. For a few seconds, it stayed there, crouched, sniffing the air. Then it stood back up again. The shape was clear now, the way the shoulders hunched forward, the way the head tilted, the faint glint of 2 eyes catching the light. And then it growled. The sound rumbled low and mean, deep enough to make the tent fabric vibrate. Maya whispered, "Rachel, what the hell is that?" I couldn't answer. It took one slow step forward, then another. We both instinctively turned off our flashlights and held our breath. The thing's shadow crossed over our tent, and then, as quickly as it appeared, it slipped back into the trees. We sat there in total silence, too scared to move. Every few minutes, there'd be a sound, a crack, a rustle, a scrape. Sometimes it sounded far away. Sometimes it was right outside the tent. Then we heard something metallic, a sharp clang. Our pots and pans. It was messing with our cooking gear. We heard one clatter across the ground, another get dragged. Maya whispered, "It's in our camp." I pressed a finger to my lips. My heart was beating so hard it felt like my chest was rattling. Whatever it was strong. We could hear the cooler being nudged, the fire pit rocks shifting. Once it let out a short, harsh grunt, half growl, half exhale, and I swear it sounded frustrated. The smell hit next, musky, wild, like wet fur and rot. I wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. We were 2.5 miles from the car, surrounded by black forest, so we waited. Sometime around 4:30, the forest started to lighten just a bit. Not dawn yet, but close. The air had that early morning chill that creeps into your bones. That's when it happened. The entire tent lit up for a split second, like someone had taken a flash photo right outside. A burst of white light, gone as fast as it came. Maya screamed. I grabbed her arm. We both backed into opposite corners of the tent, clutching the sleeping bags like shields. Outside, something moved. Slow footsteps circling, the faint sound of breathing. Then a long guttural growl that trailed off into a rasp. I held my breath until I couldn't anymore. Then, nothing. The sound stopped. The light outside began to shift from black to gray, gray to blue. When the sun finally broke over the treetops, we were still sitting there, backs against the tent walls, waiting for the next sound. But it never came. As soon as the light was strong enough to see clearly, we bolted. We unzipped the tent, grabbed our packs, left the cooler, the chairs, everything. The moment we stepped outside, the cold morning air hit us, thick with dew and the faint smell of something burnt. The camp was a mess. The pots were scattered, the cooler tipped on its side, and one of the string lights had been ripped down and torn apart. In the dirt, just beyond the fire pit, were tracks, large, deep, and wrong. The front looked like a paw, but the back stretched long, almost like a human footprint, but wider, heavier. We didn't stick around to study them. We half ran, half stumbled down the trail, checking behind us every few seconds, expecting to see movement in the trees. The woods were quiet, still, as if they were holding their breath. By the time we reached the car, the sun was full up,
golden through the pines. We didn't speak. We just threw the gear in the trunk, slammed the doors, and peeled out. We didn't stop until we hit pavement again. When we finally did, Maya looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "We're never telling anyone, right? They'll think we're crazy." I wanted to agree. I really did, but I couldn't stop thinking about those prints. That afternoon when I got home, I pulled up a map of the area wondering what's out there. I found reports, not official ones, just forum posts and old blog stories about people hearing howls, seeing something large and upright crossing the road near the same forest. Every one of them said the same thing. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't a man. It was both. Now, every time I pass a stretch of thick trees, I look into them, half hoping, half terrified that I might see those red eyes again. We never went back to camping, and we never will. But sometimes when the wind's just right, I can still hear it, that deep, distant howl drifting over the fields, like it's still looking for us.
The outboard motor hums low as our boat cuts through the fog. It's early, the kind of early where the air burns your lungs a little. The lake is dead calm, the water smooth as glass. It's supposed to be peaceful. That's why Tyler and I come out here every fall. 2 days off the grid. No noise, no cell service, just a tent, our rifles, and the woods. We've been doing it for years. We've seen bears, coyotes, even what might have been a mountain lion once. But this year, the woods feel different. The fog's thick enough to swallow sound. I can't even hear our wake behind us. Tyler kills the motor and lets us drift. "This is it," he says quietly. "Perfect spot." We beach the boat, drag it into the shallows, and haul our gear into the trees. Within minutes, the forest swallows the world behind us. No roads, no people, no way back except that boat. We set up a quick camp, toss some logs on the fire, and start scouting before sunset. We both move in opposite directions. It's our usual routine, but something about the silence makes me uneasy. Not even birds. Just wind whispering through the branches. Then, halfway up the ridge, I find it. Tracks. Huge ones. 4 deep claws in the mud, sunk almost 2 inches deep, way too big for any dog or coyote. And fresh. The smell hits next, a thick, metallic scent, like blood and wet fur. "Tyler, you're gonna want to see this." Before I can turn back, I hear a sound. Snap. A branch breaks behind me. Another. Then breathing. Heavy and deep, like something dragging air through water. I spin around, rifle raised. Nothing but fog and trees. Then I see them, 2 glowing points just beyond the brush, amber red, unblinking, and high, too high to be an animal on all 4s. I freeze. The thing moves. It's slow, deliberate, each step heavy enough to shake the leaves loose from the branches. I can hear claws clicking against wood. I take a step back. My boot snaps a twig. It growls, low and deep, the kind of sound you feel before you hear. Then it stands. I don't mean it straightens. I mean it rises. The shape unfolds until it's upright, taller than any man, broad, fur matted and dark. The outline of a muzzle catches the faint light, the shine of teeth. That's when instinct takes over. I fire once, loud enough to wake the whole forest. It doesn't drop. It just moves, a blur vanishing into the trees, the sound of cracking wood echoing as it runs.
By the time I make it back, I'm shaking. Tyler's already at the fire. He looks up, startled. What the hell was that shot? There's something out here, big, not a bear. He frowns. You're serious? Dead serious. Before I can say more, a howl cuts through the air. Low, long, almost human. We both freeze. It comes again, this time from across the lake. Then a second one, closer. Get the fire higher, Tyler says. His voice trembles just enough to let me know he's scared too. The howls stop. The forest goes dead silent again. Then a splash from the shore. Something's in the water. We swing our flashlights toward the sound. The ripples catch. Then movement. Something tall, black, dripping wet, stepping out of the lake. No way, Tyler whispers. The thing rises, hunched, fur slicked flat against its body. 2 long arms hang down almost to his knees. It stares at us with those burning eyes. Then it snarls, a wet, guttural sound that vibrates in my chest. I grab my rifle. Tyler does the same. Don't, I whisper. Just too late. He fires. The creature jerks, then lets out a scream that doesn't belong in this world. It charges impossibly fast, crashing through the trees, the sound of claws ripping bark. We fire again and again, the woods lighting up with muzzle flashes. Then it's gone. Vanished into the fog. The smell lingers, though. Copper and rotten.
We don't talk. We don't sleep. We sit with our backs to the fire, rifles ready. Every few minutes, we hear movement in the trees. A low growl here, a heavy step there, always circling. At one point, the thing lets out another howl, closer now. It sounds almost angry, like it's daring us to move. The hours crawl, the fire dies low. The air feels too thick to breathe. Just before dawn, the sound stops. No footsteps, no growl, nothing. Tyler finally whispers, "You think it's gone?" I shake my head. No, just waiting. We pack fast the second we can see light through the trees. The fog's still heavy, curling over the lake like smoke. Tyler pulls the boat into the water and yanks the starter. The motor sputters, dies. "Come on," he mutters. "Not now." He tries again. Nothing. That's when we hear it, the sound of something big moving through the woods behind us. "Row," I say, "now." We shove off, paddling hard. Branches snap behind us, closer, faster. Then a shape bursts from the tree line and hits the shoreline. 7 feet of wet, snarling muscle. It stops at the edge, pacing, claws digging into the mud. It watches us go, growling low. Then it leans forward and lets out one last howl that shakes the water beneath the goat. We don't stop rowing until the fog swallows it from sight. We make it back to the truck without speaking. No one would believe us anyway. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. That deep, hollow howl echoing across the dark water. And when I do, I remember the eyes, glowing, watching, and waiting for the next time we come back.